think one of the things I also realized, because I've always been skeptical about the yantras, because I've been in Isha quite some time and I've obviously seen that they have these yantras and how people are connecting with them. But what happened in the lockdown is I started a lamp, like I had that akhand lamp. So from the International Yoga Day, which happened in June, I actually for the next 3 to 4 months, every single day the lamp was on, like all the time it was on at night and day and everything. That was the first time that I actually had some kind of a shrine in my house, somewhat live, because there was an actually live lamp there. And what I realized at the time is that just the fact that I had to keep tending to that lamp, because the lamp would not go on its own. I had to keep tending to it at least 3 to 4 times a day. I have to go and do something so the wick is on. And that I think creates that little something different, because all of a sudden you are involved in that activity with your shrine. It's not just a shrine and you sitting here. So I think maybe that's when I started figuring that maybe the yantra really helps with that, because you're doing something with the yantra, right? I mean, you're actually involved with it.
So, yeah, a little bit, yes. But fortunately, and we are blessed that Sadhguru is easily offering these consecrated energy forms, which require very little tending to.
Yes, not too much.
You mentioned, like say for Gudi, it is, you can just light a lamp, and that's the mandatory thing, which I feel. Of course, rest, everything is as per our devotion. But it's mainly because if you've seen how it made a difference in your home, right? Lighting a lamp, it creates that ambience, right? Eventually, everything is about 5 elements, right? And this kind of just, I think, proliferates that energy space. And so for yantra also, or any consecrated energy form, or you see temples, there's always a lamp lit. I think it kind of like just does that, it kind of multifolds whatever it is, or it's some effect which happens when you light a lamp, right? And so the basic thing is to light a lamp in any of these consecrated energy forms. And since these are very, I can say some concentrated energy forms, if, we are talking in that technical terms, automatically, you start reverberating or with that reverence. It's like you come across a beautiful sage, or like some, in your Jain dharma also, when you see somebody who has done so much of sadhana and you visit them, you automatically become like this.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, unless you are in some other high.
No, fair enough. Of course, we will imbibe that.
So automatically you start, feeling that reverberation. See, one day you might just go sit and experience and come out. But if you have this space and if you light a lamp, you've seen a difference that how it changed the space around you, For you, it might be tending, the tending to it helps us to bring in discipline. And of course, it kind of channelizes our emotions and, channelizes activity also.
Yeah.
But there is a science, I'm sure, behind all this. And in a very subtle way, it changes what you experience, for me, past few days, I was experiencing a very, the moment I would go to my kitchen, I was like, no, I don't want to cook. And again, a friend of mine, she suggested that, why don't you light a lamp in the kitchen? Because my whole house is consecrated. But, maybe that area, aesthetically, it was not very pleasing or something. I didn't want to. And the moment I lit a lamp, I felt like, reverence.
Right.
And then we are in that devotion or that sweetness of emotion. Automatically, then, nonsense of the mind, it settles, and then kind of all that. So many things happen. Yeah.
But so you're saying the activity around the yantra, there is not that much, is it? I mean, because I always see all of you all having such a lot of offerings and stuff happening.
Yes. See, the only basic thing one requires is to light a lamp. And when it is a yantra, like especially the Linga Bhairavi Yantra and Avigna Yantra, you just there is a process which one needs to do by placing your hands on top of the yantra, which is a 11-minute process. So that's like the mandatory thing, and it's not to maintain the energies of the yantra, because once it is consecrated, see, once a temple is consecrated, you don't have to do anything to, like, certain temples you need to keep doing the chanting and the ucharan or offerings. But here, these are extensions of the main deity Linga Bhairavi. And once, so the only thing which you need to do is like, do the 11-minute process, light a lamp, and you can chant the Linga Bhairavi Stuti. Because see, all these things are because to prepare us to become receptive to that energy, from like what we know, the energy of Devi or Shakti or say Shiva, it's everywhere, what we are trying to do with our yogic practices and through all these rituals is to prepare ourselves to experience that energy. It's the most minimum thing which you have to do is that 11 minutes process, and the rest which you see, the elaborate like flowers and Purnami and all that, it's completely as per our devotion. As I said, for me it's, and like I started celebrating and enjoying Indian festivals like Durga Puja, Karwa Chauth, and Navratri, and Krishna Janmashtami. Staying in South, I celebrated Varalakshmi also. So for me, there is a energy form, and it gives me an outlet to express myself, right? Like as a woman, like in a daily life, I can get caught up with mundane chores at home, attending to family and our own nonsense of what goes through our unnecessary thoughts. I started realizing that these festivals and, like, say, decorating a deity or a space, it helped me, to express more. It helped me to, that sense of aesthetics, going shopping for those little flowers from the flower lady, then coming and decorating, doing the diyas. It's completely for my own devotion. It's not, if you see me and my husband, he doesn't do anything other than the process and chanting the Linga Bhairavi Stuti. And where I am is like, because I connect with that energy like that, she's like a deity, she's like a living form where I want to like put flowers, I drape different saris. That's completely my own expression. It's not needed that everybody has to do that, but for me it helps because it dissolves me. It kind of
I understand. As you've said it, I can understand it because, like you said, it's like a temple, right? And one of the big parts of a temple is to kind of the offerings and just making all those things happen.
It's completely how you hold it. It's not at all mandatory to do all those things, but it automatically happens. The most important thing was that creative expression, that inner expression, because if a temple space or having that kind of energy at home, when you're attending to it, you're doing all those things, you see my routine has become like discipline. Okay, morning, evening, take bath, light a lamp, and then at least do some of these practices. Otherwise we would just like, okay, keep watching Netflix and many other things. But yeah, and the huge difference it is because it's a consecrated energy form, right? Like there is something which is reverberating also, and that's slowly changing my energy system. If it was just a copper plate with just some markings, I never felt anything, because that was not reverberating, or maybe that was not enough for me to experience the energies.
I think that's the thing, because I also keep experiencing this, because a lot of times I have this connection with the photo and stuff. of the Dhyanlingam or something, and I keep it there. But then, yeah, I mean, it's not really reverberating all the time, and sometimes the connection is just lost, and I'm like, okay. So, but no, but you're right. It's us that we are the ones who end up losing the connection. So,
yeah. So these are easy tools, these are simple processes which you do and experience that energies at your home.
Yeah, and I think
very simple to tend to. It's very simple. You need not get overwhelmed by looking at the pictures of what
yeah, I
people
think
put
so.
up.
I do get overwhelmed because I just see sarees and stuff, and I've never had a saree for years. I haven't bought one. I don't have it in my house. So I'm like, okay, do I need to buy a saree now? I don't want to.
See, it's completely how you keep it.
I
How
didn't
you
know
hold
this
it.
because I thought
The
there may
most,
be some.
yeah. No, it's nothing. You eventually, it's just a tool. It's a machine, right? I mean, Sadhguru mentions, oh my, the Devi devotees will go like, oh God, what is it?
People who
And all
haven't
that.
seen Sadhguru, they'll kind of freak out if we call it a machine. But yeah, I understand. Of course, Sadhguru keeps saying it.
I mean, for me also, I've understood that, right? Like, because though for me, Devi is a living energy form, ultimately, I see it as a tool to enhance that aspect of Devi or that Shakti or the feminine or that divine within me. That's it. I mean, there's no point having a consecrated energy form if it is not doing something to you or you are not transforming, right? I mean, what is the point? I tell people, what is the point if I offer a flower to Devi with such devotion, and suppose the next moment I go on the street and I scream at somebody, oh God, what have you kept? I mean, that is not the whole thing, right? It is how, see, I mean, in that sense of offering, when I offer a flower to that deity, that same offering I would hold when I'm offering a flower to you. Because from in my experience, it is coming that the divine is, I mean, we're all in that same energy, and that energy is within you, within me, and it's on the cosmos as well. So that is the main purpose, not purpose, I would say that resonance is the most important thing, that how it changes you. I mean, what devotion can change your own behavior or the way you perceive life. If that doesn't happen, I mean, there's no point in, just like going goo hoo ha ha about, okay, I live in a consecrated space, or I have a personal dating. But at the same time, like, devotees can be crazy, that you can't judge them by their behavior also.
That's actually what I was thinking about when you were saying this. Does it happen that people go so crazy with the yantra or something that it's just off?
I mean, see, it's very important for us to be balanced in our own, like, sadhana, and have common sense, I would say that, because it's very, in this part, I feel it's very easy for people to hallucinate, right? I mean, people, when they receive yantras, the major mistake or the perception people have is, okay, if I receive a yantra, or if I receive a consecrated energy form, my life challenges would go away, I would get money. I mean, that's how these days people fool others, right? You receive this yantra and तो आपका सब life में सब बदल जाएगा, कठिनाइयाँ चली जाएंगी, and all that. But that's not how it is, right? I mean, external situations will always be like, like this, like that. But it's how we start handling it. And certain times these energy forms are quite intense as well. Sorry, I forgot what you initially asked me. Like, you asked, people go crazy. Yeah, so it's very, I mean, once we receive these energy forms, it's important to understand that, okay, I mean, I've received Devi, that doesn't mean I have to stop working. I've received a energy form, a yantra. That doesn't mean that money is going to flow to me. I have to put in those efforts, right? I have to have a conversation with Priyanka so that this can, on Zoom or this video, so it can reach people. I mean, I'm not in that state that I will just close my eyes and everybody will come to know about yantras or something, like, what
No,
I'm
but
experiencing.
no, I understand. So I understand that aspect of it, and I think one of the things that helps is that because Isha is offering it, I'm sure Sadhguru has given enough of gyan around this, because he's always about this, right? That internally you have to be you'll be completely blissful, but when it comes to your outside situation and everything, you're managing it in the most sensible way possible. And I
But
think in his
sadly, that doesn't happen, because
okay.
uh, because over the years, people have, like, in India and everywhere, because there's been so much of marketing about these yantras, that copper plate, that up, you wear this
Right,
crystal,
right.
you wear this yantra, your life will change and all that stuff. That is the perception is very deceptive.
Yeah, no,
That
people
is why
expect it to be
people,
a miracle,
like,
which is
yeah,
not what
yeah,
this is. You are talking about it as a tool to deepen your sadhana.
exactly, and many of them fall into this trap,
Okay.
and yeah, I mean, at least from what I've seen. But luckily, I mean, if one is grounded in their sadhana and has basic common sense, I wouldn't say much is needed, and and also understand that there's a thin line, right, between that illusion and actually experiencing something which is beyond your physical perception.
Yeah, but I also meant it in the positive sense, like it could happen, right? Like your experience of yantra becomes so intense, or your bhakti becomes so intense that
Yes.
you basically, in a very genuine way, you lose touch with what is social sense.
Yes, definitely it does. Like for me, I can, uh, I mean, I'm blessed. Like I can experience that in my four walls. But I know that if I carry that same craziness when I walk out of my house, people will say, "What's wrong with you, Sphoorti? You're gone mad. Like, why are you shouting Devi, Devi? Or Shiva, Shiva." So, I mean, I think it's over the time, and also like the tools which Sadhguru's offered, other practices, a balancing, and our own perception, interacting with the satsang, interacting with other people. It's like continuously we have to work on ourselves. Doesn't matter like what we have in whatever form, and also I mean, just have common sense. Common sense.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I think
but
Isha and Sadhguru does help make it little balancing force. Because I think Sadhguru also mentioned it, right? Like for him to venture into this whole sphere of Devi, Yantra and all was a big deal. Because he never touched that otherwise. He would always remained in this zone of yoga practices and awareness and that path. But then,
yeah, because because see, this science
yeah,
has been diluted over the
yeah,
years, and as I said, it's like highly misinterpreted, and it's very badly marketed. That on
yeah.
a like on a e-commerce website, you can get a yantra for 145 rupees, which can change your life.
Wow, I
So
didn't know this.
I, yeah,
Okay.
you just Google
Yeah,
yantras
I
and all
will.
that.
Hmm.
So I mean, it's a basic, it's a science and alchemy which yogis and sages and people who have explored within
Yeah,
have arrived to these
right.
science, and it's highly diluted. It's highly
Hmm.
diluted, and that's why people easily fall into this. And I think that's why they have been very careful also on how to you know go about talking about it and giving these tools. But
Hmm.
I can tell, I mean, from my own experience, that it's one of the most beautiful things because it's given so easily. Like I've volunteered for yantra ceremonies, and I've seen personally on hand that how a yogi, I mean Sadhguru pours his energy. You can feel that his pours his own life. See, suppose Priyanka is a bundle of energy and Sphoorti
Hmm.
is a bundle of energy. What if we are giving that life? that life into something, right? How would you hold that something or that energy form? Would you just like keep it in your pocket because it's 45 rupees? Or would you hold it? Because it's life. Tomorrow if my life goes away, like some part of it, I mean, it it's it's very natural for some person with a common sensibility to hold it in that reverence. And it's given out very easily, I would say, because in my experience, it's an it's a tool which kind of enhance your sadhana in a very big way.
Yeah, because I'm currently not aware of, like you're saying, there are these things you get online and stuff, whatever. I don't know about those, but I'm not aware of anyone really giving these powerful yantras, which are such a big thing. Usually they are just given as something, I don't know, like they give you prasad, they give you a copper plate.
Yes.
Which is very different, because that's like...
Yes. Yeah, in South, I have seen that some people, they actually, have even these copper plates are, some are consecrated. I've personally, received one, or I can say my husband had received one, and he did some sadhana with that, that yantra, that copper plate thing, and he experienced something very deep. So there is this science. There is this science, but it's only thing that the majority in the market, I would say, is it's not authentic, or some people misuse it, and some people actually fool people. Because that's like a huge percentage we don't know, or people don't take it seriously. But here, I mean, from my own personal experience, I can say it's very easily given. Like such a
For
highly.
what it is easily given.
Yes, it is. It is.